I haven't done a musician for a while, and let alone a pal. So this is Gene Loveland. I'm super excited to have him here because he's a multi-talent, and we all know how much I love these creative chameleons that do like 50,000 different things like I do. So super excited to have you here, Gene. So I usually start off with the most important question I'm going to ask you. So hopefully you're prepared for this. This is a very big one because I've scrolled and I've researched quite a bit. What's the deal with if I put my phone down, great things will happen? I hear that a lot from you. You're always paraphrasing. I put my phone
Oh,
down. If I put my phone down, I'm thinking, is there
oh,
some magical thing that happens when you put your phone down?
yeah. You stop staring at your screen. It was that came from the last time we were here in Nashville, and my wife and I, Cherry, she's also my co-writer, and we were sitting at an airport bar listening to some to a singer play, and I was just kind of on my phone, and I just remember looking up and seeing her, and she's kind of smiling at me and not giving me crap about being on my phone.
Sure.
It was just a moment that it was kind of cool to see, and I thought, wow, this is kind of neat. I almost missed that moment, so that's how it all came about, and then I wrote a song called "I Almost Missed You," and that's the one we're actually working on right now. And so that's where it comes from.
Okay.
So just set your phone face down, take a look around, and you know, just there's also a really cool song that I like. It's called "Screen" that this guy Hardy wrote, and talks about staring at your telephone screen when you should be looking out the back door screen at the world around you. So it kind of stems from that.
Yeah, I get you. Live your life and live it in the moment, which is awesome. Other things I like about this guy, I've seen you drink espresso. I've seen you do your martini thing. I've seen you do all this travel. On top of which, recently you were at a horse training center. So we got to talk about that. What did we learn and why did we go to a horse training center?
Where I grew up in Washington State, I had a pony named Snoopy, and Snoopy scared me after a while, so I decided that, and I never got to ride again after that until I came to LA, and did a few trail rides and that sort of thing. But I've just always kind of missed it, and I kind of wanted to get back to my roots and what I used to do as a kid growing up in a small town. And so I looked it up, tried to find a place where I could go do some not just ride the horse, but like just learn how to take care of them. And that's still something that I hope to pursue down the road. But it's a great place in Malibu. They train a lot of actors to ride horses for the first time, for like the Yellowstone guys and girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was just a lot of fun. Just to again one of those things to put your phone down and just be just
Be
be
present.
there, be
That's
present. Yeah.
awesome. And but since you brought it up, I'm going to guess you are that Yellowstone Dutton Range kind of guy, or are you? I'm just curious.
I do like that show, and
Yellowstone?
yeah,
Okay.
I do like the
Gotcha.
show. But I also like Kevin Costner, and I have
Oh
a
yeah.
I I worked at a movie studio called Raleigh Studios in Hollywood a long time ago, but I went there because he was there. His offices were there, and
Oh,
uh, and he was a cool guy. And then he would threw the football around with us. Just just a normal kind of guy. And so yeah, it was kind of fun.
maybe
And
you
it
could
was cool
call
to see
your.
him have kind of a comeback because he kind of disappeared
Oh
for a
yeah.
while. And then,
Oh yeah. Maybe you
yeah,
could call your friend Kevin and tell him that most of us want to marry him, or at least be in a room with him at some point. I would totally appreciate that. I'd be like all over that. Kevin Costner's awesome, and he was awesome in that show. So kudos to that
yeah,
man. Um,
yeah.
To those of you that don't know, the top two cities I found out for musicians to reside in and to do their career. Number one is Nashville. Number two is LA. This guy goes back and forth between LA and Nashville, which I think is way cool and very smart from a musician perspective. So I want to talk a minute about that. To those of us like myself, I'm about to go to Nashville for the first time in September. Talk to me a bit about what it's like to be a musician in Nashville and then switching gears going back to LA.
Well, what I like about Nashville is that it's a songwriter's town and it's a musician's town. And every place you
Okay.
go, there's somebody playing somewhere, whether it be the airport, a coffee shop, a bar, and they really take care of the songwriters, musicians here. We were at a place last night called the Listening Room that's been going on for at least a decade or more. No, 20 years actually, because we went to the 20th anniversary at the Ryman here last time we were here.
Yeah.
But they're just good to you. You know, you can. Somebody told us the other day that you could literally play as much as you want every day. You may not get paid for it, but there's always a venue for you to go and hone your craft. LA is different for me. For one, it seems like it's a further commute to go to each place that I want to go to perform, to play. It's here. It's 6 minutes away. You
All
can.
right.
It's just there's just so many, and again, they cater towards songwriters. And it is mostly country music, so but there are other places. But LA, I find there is an Americana scene there, a country music scene, and I've met a couple of people that are doing that now.
Yeah.
That we just recorded. We just recorded the No More One Days with a guy named Ed Denley, and he's there in Eagle Rock, Highland Park area. But yeah, there's an Americana scene there. But I don't know. It's more rock oriented there, I think, or alternative sounds. So, and there was a time when I was doing that, but I don't know.
Okay.
Now, as I'm here in Nashville, I feel like this is the place that I probably should have come to in the beginning. But
Does that does
here
that
we
mean
are.
that you'll end up moving there, leaving LA and staying in Nashville?
I'm definitely going to continue to have a presence here, even probably even more of a presence than I have now. Come back every couple of months until who knows? Maybe if I just decide to come here, then we'll see.
Nice. I like that. Oh, and I could use some recommendations. I'm a first timer, so I'm coming in
Yep.
September. I judged for Nashville Film Festival, so they were nice enough to say, come on down. So it's my first trip, and I know my daughter loves it there, but any must-sees, anything that any of us, if we visit, have to go and make a point to go see.
I would start at a place called 12 South.
Okay.
It's a neighborhood. You're walkable if you get an Airbnb or a hotel. It's great little places all around. Music venues, food, bars, coffee, whatever you need.
Sure.
This time around, we're in an area called East Nashville. Again, it's also walkable to all those great things, shops,
Yeah.
music venues. And you're also an Uber away from downtown, which is, I think, 12 to 15 minutes from where we're staying.
Oh, nice.
Those two places, catch a show at the Ryman Auditorium.
Okay.
It's a great venue to see music. The Listening Room also is a lot of fun. We were there last
Okay.
night.
Cool.
Yeah, just
Hmm.
to start. And
That
of
is
course, you
just
got
to
to go
start.
down Broadway. You got to
Yeah.
go down Broadway and just see the scene. It's
Aha.
pretty cool.
So
Yeah.
now, to anyone that follows me, they would obviously tell you that my second home is New York City. So I am curious. I've not seen you post or mention going to New York, which is surprising because there's so many musicians there. So is that on the docket at some point?
Well, I do have family there that lives in Greenpoint, and I do
Mm.
go visit. I haven't been back in about a year or so.
Oh gosh.
I didn't plan on playing there, but if I can find a little singer-songwriter Americana venue or two, I definitely do it. Definitely do it.
This is
Yeah,
good. Expansion is
yeah,
good. That's awesome.
for
Um,
sure.
I want to switch gears a second and talk about your main job because despite what people might think, he is not a millionaire yet. Musicians are not always millionaires. So that means you have a day job, of course. And I want to talk about this because it's so very touching, and I can't help but think it's been more than once that your day job has influenced your music and your art. So you work with critically ill heart patients. So twofold question there. First of all, how does one cope with that outside of work? Because that's a lot of mental there. And then second of all, tell me one of the greatest things that you've observed at work.
Hmm. Wow. And when I first started I would think you would think that it would bother me, but it was such a good group of people in the emergency department at UCLA. It was just a great camaraderie, and we all just
Mhm.
kind of joined together, and we got through the days through sick humor, but also just everybody, you took a time out after something bad happened, and you all just talked, and you aired out what you were feeling and thinking, and it happened all the time, and it
Sure.
was a daily occurrence. And I don't want to say you become uh, immune to it, but it does come a point where you have to kind of protect yourself, and you just everybody's kind of leans on each other. Um, I don't know. As far as I mean, this latest story was pretty cool, I have to say. I I'm no longer working as a nurse. I work for a company that makes a heart pump. So for someone who's waiting on a heart transplant, let's say, they will put this heart pump in and they'll keep it in until they get a heart transplant. And I had met a family. He was 47 years old, him and his wife and two kids, and living in Vegas. And he got sick and had to go to the hospital, and they needed a heart transplant. And so I was talking to him, and that's how this song "No More One Days" came about. I was
Right.
talking to him about I just got back from Nashville, and he's like, "Oh, I love Nashville." And his wife is, "Oh, I want to go to Nashville," and he was like, "Yeah, one day, when this heart pump gets out of my chest," and she like, no more one days, and like she's heard that before. So that's where that song came about. What was really cool though is that he'd waited 2 months for a heart transplant, and he went in to get one, and it wasn't good for him, and so it wasn't the right heart. But then he did get his heart transplant on Easter Sunday, Easter morning,
Oh,
and they are a very religious family, and it was very moving to see all that happen.
you
But
betcha.
there's little miracles all the time with that in that field, I have to say. I remember a guy who was talking to us, and he said, he goes, I don't feel real good. I don't know if I'm going to make it through this procedure. And he ended up passing away on the table for a short amount of time, and then actually we got him back, and he took him to the ICU. And the next day, I went to see him, and he remembered everything.
Oh,
He told me all the medications I pushed, everything the doctors were saying to us and to him, and so that was pretty cool. So there's a lot of stuff that happens in that field
look at
that's
that.
inspiring. Yeah.
Speaking of coping, I imagine that your wife is very helpful in that regard. So we want to talk a bit about her. I'm always fascinated about the girl behind the guy, so to speak, or next to him, I should say, even better. So tell us a bit about her. And then, second of all, how does she influence what you do professionally? Meaning that has she been an inspiration of a song? Has she been there for most of this career? Is she pushing and pushing and pushing all the time, like most of us?
Yeah. Well, she's number one, my co-writer, and she helps me with a lot of these songs. She's also a musician, a jazz musician, plays saxophone.
Ooh,
When I met her, I was editing Choices,
okay.
and she was. We were mutual friends with the guy who was editing it, and he's the one who introduced us.
Okay.
And he introduced us. He said, "Hey, you want to come and have a drink with me at a bar?" And I was like, I almost didn't go, and I think she almost didn't go. And then we ended up going to this bar there in downtown Los Angeles, and we basically haven't left each other's side for the most part since that day. It was 10 to 12 years ago ish, and we both laugh because we can hardly ever remember our anniversary, but I can. She can too. But no, she's always been very supportive with the music or the acting, and she's been here on this whole trip with me. Again, co-writing when I'm not performing and
Yeah.
filming, and no, it's a big part of it, big part of it. And I wouldn't say she's pushy. She's just very helpful.
Look at that. Thank you for
Yeah,
that. I want to talk about Green Trailer Productions. What would you like to tell us about that?
that started with her and I. We were at the apartment. We were trying to figure out a production name, and I think we drew up a picture of a green trailer. Or because I grew up in a mobile home, and it was green.
Okay.
And so we created that whole thing just out of the idea that maybe we'd make films or something underneath that production company, and I still have it, um, but it's right now it's kind of on hold since the music's kind of taken a turn,
Mhm.
and concentrating on that more.
Sure, you betcha. But since I have access and information about that, we're going to talk about it now. So
Okay,
in
great.
2012, he did a short film by the name of Choices. Your music is in that. You were also an actor in the film. For those of you that have not seen it before, it deals a lot with not only the grief process, but also about guilt and responsibility and regret when it comes to our decisions and our futures and things like that. So, talk to me a bit about what made you want to be in that particular film. I realize your music is in there, but what is it about the script that spoke to you and said, yes, needs to be me, not somebody else?
I was talking to Sean Ryan, the writer, and we were going through his scripts, trying to figure out one that would be good to make, but also at that time I was looking for something that didn't have too many locations and not too many people in it because
Yeah.
it's for budget constraints. And he wrote this. I don't remember if he wrote it before I met him or while we were together. But I just liked it. I liked the darkness of it. I liked how there was a twist at the end where you're not supposed to know who does what,
Hmm.
and how this guy has some sort of a psychological issue, and he's a doctor, he's a pediatrician, and
Yeah.
what he does, it's just a whole bunch of different. It's very dramatic, very contrasty, and it just seemed like a challenge as well, and that's why I did it. It just sounded like fun, and then a lot of the people that I had on board with me were just great to be around. Some of them.
Gotcha. And for future reference, folks, it is on Vimeo right now. The hope is that he will shop it around to various other places and onto other
With
streaming
your help.
platforms, etc. With my help. There you go. There's that. Number two, for those that don't know, in 2016, you were the director of a project called Roadside Stars. So I have a question about directing side of things. Big difference between being an actor in many different ways. So again, I want to ask the question, elective choice when it comes to art. In this case, you're running the helm of this. So talk a bit about how that allowed you to be a different kind of artist because music, I think, is very far removed from film direction, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the song was first, and then it inspired a music video that I made with a friend of mine,
Yeah.
and then I started talking to a buddy of mine who's a producer, David White, and we thought that it might be a good idea to make this a series.
Yeah.
And at that time, like 10-minute, 15-minute, 20-minute shows online was popular. And so that was the plan. So there was a couple of things that went down with all that. One, as a lot of actors want to be, they want to be in the Screen Actors Guild. And I was at the time not in the Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah.
So what we did, we hired all SAG actors, and we tried to find someone who had a name. So we found Candy Clark,
Hmm.
and she plays the part of my mom, and she
Hmm.
was in American Graffiti and a whole
Yeah.
bunch of stuff. And she was so that was great to have her. And then so that was our name, and then we wanted to have people that were involved in the music industry in some way, shape, or form
Yeah.
as cast members. So Lucy Walsh, Joe Walsh's daughter,
Yeah.
from the Eagles. So
Okay.
she played a part in it. So that was the goal, to kind of have just this underlying undertone of music stuff happening. And so yeah, we made that. We made it in. Gosh, I think did we make it in a weekend or two
Holy
weekends
cow.
in Eagle Rock, Malibu. Yeah, it was over 2 weekends. Eagle Rock, Malibu, and yeah, and and then it went to a film festival in Brooklyn,
Okay.
and then I submitted to other places, but it just didn't gather the traction that Choices did. But I've always thought about maybe having it be a feature, and And I've
Hmm.
tried to, I've done it. We actually wrote a script, a feature script, but it just didn't come to fruition quite yet.
Can we see this anywhere?
So that's where we are with that.
Can we see it? I mean, any place?
Uh, It's online. I
It
believe it's
is.
also on Vimeo.
Okay, got
Venmo.
it. Okay,
Vimeo.
got it. Vimeo for now,
Yeah.
with hopefully bigger places to go. That's just
Yeah,
my take on that.
exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
Again, more stuff in the acting world. So you've done a total of 10 projects so far, one of which was Young and the Restless. Soap operas. I feel like they've all but kind of disappeared, maybe getting somewhat of a resurgence right now. But being on a soap, would you say, do you think there's still interest in that? Do you think we can still have these out there and be thriving?
Ah, man, I remember watching soap operas with my mom just forever ago, and they're still here. And
Yes.
the day that I was on there, it was. I mean, these guys are real actors. They've got
Yeah.
so many words to learn, and they have. I don't want to give all their secrets away, but they've got scripts hiding everywhere.
Sure.
Like in between breaks and like under lampposts, underneath cushions, in their back pocket, because there's just so much for them to learn. And
Sure.
that was the first time I ever got treated like an actor. I had my own room, my own dressing room, and man,
Ooh.
I thought I was it. And but it was a great audition because I went in to audition for a role of a doctor, I believe, and they liked me, and then they cast somebody else for that. Then they said, "Well, we're going to bring you in as an extra." So I got there as an extra, and then they decided, "No, we're going to have you be a nurse." And now they give me lines. So that was cool. It was one of
I
those
bet.
days. It was like everything just kind of changed. But yeah, I think there's room for it. I think, yeah, absolutely. These guys are good.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
more talented than maybe they get credit for.
Yes.
And they
And
were all super,
since,
super nice.
oh, that's nice to hear.
Yeah,
Now,
super
I
nice.
see you did your first role in 18 years ago. So if I were to say to you now, at the age you are now, what would you say to that young man 18 years ago, first day on set? Anything you learned that you want to tell him now?
Walk on stage like you own it.
Smart. I like that. I do. I
But
don't
be
want to.
nice.
Yes, well, people forget that and also stay humble. I notice that
Oh,
people
yeah.
have a tendency to change that as they get bigger and
Yeah.
better. And yeah,
Yeah.
you bet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, then there's the writer side of you. So you've written 3 projects total. So question relative to that, when we talk about writing for let's say you write a song, which I've not done yet, versus writing a screenplay. Biggest difference between the two, and second of all, always asking this, please tell us how to get rid of that damn writer's block.
Second verse hell. Um, well, the biggest difference between a script and a song is the song is a lot shorter. I'm sorry to be
Yeah.
that blunt about it, but it's true. It's a lot shorter. It's a 3 minute movie, it's a 3.5 minute movie, as opposed to
Yes.
whether it be 12 minutes or an hour or 90 minutes, what have you. But with that said, too, you have to tell a story in 3.5 minutes, and
Yeah.
there has to be a beginning, a middle, and an end, and that can be a challenge. Um, but I like writing songs, and a lot, and
Mhm.
I love the craft of it, and I love being with other songwriters and and learning, from them as well, and listening to other songwriters and how they perform on stage or how they create. I don't know. I had not written a song for a while, and then when we came here a few months ago to the listening rooms,
Hmm.
20th anniversary at the Ryman, just to hear all these songs that these people write and sing, and they're not the stars, they're not the ones that you hear on the radio, but to
Yeah.
hear their version of their song was really cool, and that's kind of that's what actually lit the fire again,
Hmm.
just to start writing. I had written over the pandemic. I'd written a bunch of stuff, but I hadn't recorded it. But after going there and then coming back to LA and writing and rewriting, and finally booking a recording session, it's just and then coming here and playing those songs. There's just something about that whole process that I like a lot.
I imagine so. Well, and everybody has I know for myself, obviously, as a writer, I get blocked a lot and I have my certain techniques or tricks. But you on the musician side of things, if you just get stuck or blocked, what do you do?
Wait. Um, call, call, call Cherry and say, "Help me with this. I'm in second verse hell," because she's my co-writer,
Sure.
and that's kind of how it works right now. Um, I just try not to wait for inspiration. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm always looking. I'm always keeping notes, and I'm studying. I'm going to the National Songwriters Association and taking their classes on. There's a website, a couple of guys called Songtown, and they you take classes. There's videos to watch. There's another one called Songwriting Pro. He's out of Raleigh, North Carolina. I follow these guys. I started just doing what other writers do, and everybody has that same second verse hell. Where do I go from here?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes that second verse is your first verse, or maybe that second verse is part of your chorus, or and you just try to piece different puzzles together. I think that's what I'm learning.
Very cool. I like that.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a right or wrong, or a should. It's just you just keep playing. You know.
Keep writing and don't give up. And obviously, don't get too frustrated. I say that a lot. I tend to throw pencils when I can't do it. I'm like, I throw a couple pencils across the room. I leave the house for a while. I buy a new
Yeah.
dress, typical things like that. Um, so, the musician. So, most people at this point in Gene's life would probably recognize him as a working and playing musician. So, the first thing I want to talk a bit about, if it's okay with you, is I had learned that you were adopted. And so I'm curious about, again, does that bleed into your music at all? And also, how has that shaped you as a person?
Wow. Does it bleed into my music? It has. It
Okay.
has. It has a little bit in the past. I think when I found out who my parents were, it caused me to write a song, almost like a I don't know, like a hello goodbye kind of letter in a sense.
Okay.
Um, as far as shaping it, I mean, I was 3 days old when I was adopted, and so I never knew them, and the parents that I grew up with were very um, loving, and they've always been. They're both gone now. They passed away,
Oh,
but
goodness.
well, they were gosh, they were in their late 40s when they adopted me up in Washington State,
Okay.
in Glenoma, and yeah, just great parents, great mom, great dad, and yeah, my mom was a musician. She was a painter. And so she was always encouraging that on that way. And then when I decided to move to LA, they drove me. They drove me to LA and to help me get situated. And they probably weren't sure whether or not I'd be coming back home right away, but I stayed. And I think having good parents keeps you helps you keep your head on straight.
Would it be fair to ask the question, will you ever do a film about this?
Mm. Wow, I don't know. Maybe,
I feel
maybe.
like that's one thing, and it occurred to me when I was going to interview you. I have not really done an interview or about adoption, or really
Hmm.
spoken to a whole lot of folks that have been adopted before, and I can imagine what that journey varies greatly from those of us who have had our parents our whole life. So, just a thought. I mean, just throwing it out there might be helpful for other people.
I'll keep that in mind
Just another
for sure.
thing to keep in mind. But back to the music. So, second question relative to that, you're holding a guitar in your hand. So, I have found through many a musician that most of them usually have three favorite guitars, at least
Oh,
two, maybe, depending on the person, and they always stick to the same brand. So, is that the case for you? Always buying the same brand? How many do you have?
oh. Let's see. I've got a Gibson Les Paul that I've had since I was 14
Sure,
years old, and I don't have that with me. I have an Ovation that I got in 1992 that
sure.
I still play that to this day. And then I gave a Yamaha to my daughter. What else do I have? This what I'm holding is actually a rental here from in Nashville.
Oh,
So I didn't pack my own guitars for this trip. I
okay. Hmm.
just wanted to do a little rental, but I've always wanted to try to play. I've always wanted to play the Gibson J45, and I thought, well, this is a good. this is a good chance to try it.
Smart, very smart. And doing all of my digging, I was not able to clarify one way or the other. So are you professionally educated as it comes to music education or no?
No.
That's what I thought. Okay, that's what I
My
thought.
wife is.
I'm just asking because I was like, yeah, there seems to be none of that. So I want to talk a bit about that. As a parent myself, I know a lot of us are more inclined to keep pushing education, how important it is, etc. So as a working musician at this point in your career, would you advise folks to get some form of formal education before they start?
I think I was lucky to have a guy in Glenoma, Washington, who was able to teach me some chords and help me learn to play some songs that I like.
Uh,
And my two my two girls, one learned how to play drums during the pandemic when she's 14 years old by watching YouTube videos.
okay.
Not that that's the way you should always do it. My daughter Phoebe, I taught her a few chords. I'm now actually going back to school where I'm learning guitar, some theory, songwriting, voice. It can't hurt. Um, I think it's just how deep you want to go into it. Um, Cherry sometimes tells me that if I learn too much theory, it's going to ruin me. But that's why
Interesting.
her and I work well together. I'll come with a bunch of ideas or some verses in the chorus and some intros or whatever, and uh, and she comes with the other parts of it, with help me with phrasing, melody, just different chord ideas. So yeah, I think just maybe have one that's been formally trained and one that hasn't been, and see what happens.
That makes sense. Okay. I like to ask musicians this question because music is ever evolving, just like film is in other entities. So nowadays, for a working musician, obviously there's a number of factors to consider. Competition for one, how to get your music out there, illegal streaming, things like that. How do you successfully handle the business end of music?
I'm still learning it. I'm still learning the business end of it. I think what I've been trying to do is something I've never done before is hire consultants. There's a lady here who runs the Bluebird Cafe
Oh, yeah,
in Nashville. Her name is
sure.
Barbara Cloyd, and I've hired her twice. Once off of Zoom, and she teaches everything. She'll listen to your songs. She'll give you. I said, well, what would you do if you were me over the next 18 months? And she literally gave me a list of things that she would do.
Okay.
So, and she's been doing this for 30 years. And then I met her on Monday. I went to her house. And again, I played her three songs, and then she listens, and then I ask her again, what would you do if you were me over the
Yeah.
next 12 months? And it's just one of those things, and I think it's just write songs, record songs,
Hmm.
perform songs, but then you also have to learn about how to protect yourself. So you're copywriting your songs, you're signing with ASCAP or BMI, so you can for all the help that they can give, and you can contact those guys, and they can, if you tell them you're in town, maybe meet with somebody, and have a sit down with them and see what you can do. It's all just a learning experience,
Sure.
talking to other talking to the other musicians. I think the biggest thing I've learned is that there's no real big secret to it all. It's just you have to do it,
Yeah.
and like
You bet.
anything.
And in your profession, do you find appearance matters? Because I know that there's some musicians that are meticulous, want the same look, wear the same hat, the same clothes, that sort of stuff. So in your genre, and by the way, remind everyone what your genre is that important?
The genre now is very much Americana, country,
Yeah.
little bit of pop, maybe a little touch of some country rock, blues rock. I don't know. As far as appearance goes, I like to look and feel a certain way, but then you've got other musicians that like these. You get these guys that are like the Riley Greens of the world, who's
Hmm.
he's the good-looking guy now, and you've got someone like, God bless him, Luke Combs, who just sounds amazing and
Yeah.
can take down a house. It's I don't know. It just depends on the music, I think.
That's also true because it
Really
was
did.
interesting. I've become more of a fan of country music. I just wish y'all would like talk more about like happy things. That the cat died, my wife left. I'm sitting here drinking a bottle by myself. That's kind of how I envision country sometimes. So I'm like, okay. But no, sometimes I know the look is all part of the stage presence and all that good stuff. And then every musician again is very different. So if I were to ask you, do we even rehearse anymore? Do we even have time to rehearse anymore?
Oh yeah, absolutely rehearse.
Really?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm
I
surprised.
mean, yeah. Surprised about like rehearsing, like
Yeah, it's
before we go
kind
on
of like
stage, that
a
sort of thing.
right, like kind of like a writer. Like I've been interviewing people for a long time. So do I get prepared and all that good stuff? To some degree, sure. But can I go blindsided and be like, here's my notes, just going in. You know how you've been doing something for a while and you get so used to it, you're like, I could probably get away with doing this without doing any prep. I guess
Well,
that's
I
it.
think I think you could get away with it. However, I think you won't you won't be your best, and you won't sound as good. And I think
Sure.
leading up to this trip or leading up to our recording session, a lot of things that we did, which having someone who's formally trained there with me, we worked. We had the metronome going. We worked on timing. We worked on pitch. We worked on phrasing. We worked on tempo, and doing that, and going to my little music class once a week,
Mm.
and just yeah, I think rehearsing is huge, and then rehearsing here before I go to
Oh
play.
yeah. Sure.
It's big 'cause the more you do it too, because you're only when you get up on stage, all that rehearsing kind of goes out the window. You just kind of hope some of it sticks, at least with me.
Yeah.
And the more you rehearse, the better you're going to be when you go up there. And yeah, you can have lyrics there and your chords written down, but there's nerves kick in, and I think being well rehearsed helps you be. You're not going to be as good as you are in your bedroom up on that stage, guarantee that.
Mm.
But when you get up there, hopefully you've rehearsed enough in your bedroom that you'll be half as good as you were in your bedroom.
Sure. Now, July
Yeah,
5th was your birthday.
was.
Excellent day. That was my father's birthday as well. And on that same day, you released No More One Days, which is awesome because I love it. Not only, again, talking about time, huge example of talking about time and what we do with it, etc. So tell us a bit about the song. And then, of course, obviously, I'm going to shut up because the best representation of his music is him, in which case he can play for us.
Well, the song, I know I talked about it a little bit ago, but it was just I just came back from Nashville, and my brain was on. I was listening to anything and everything that everybody said to me. I'm always looking for a song idea or a title, and not that I was looking for one that particular day, but my radar was up. And when I walked in and I saw this couple and his two kids, their two kids in the ICU, and he had the heart pump going, and there are photographs up on the wall of them, and they're riding their motorcycles, and they live in Vegas, and they've got horses, and it's just like, and here is this poor guy just needing a heart transplant. And we were just kind of talking, and he asked me, "What'd you do over the weekend?" And I said, "Well, I just got back from Nashville," and that's when he said, "Oh, I love country music. I love." He named off a bunch of artists that he loves, and then she said, "You've got to take me. You've got to take me to Nashville." And that's when he said, "Yeah, one day." And she said, "No more one days." And I thought, well, wow, there's a cool title. Just kind of left it at that.
Yeah.
And then I came back and saw them like 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks later, and she said, "Did you ever write a song out of that title?" I go, "As a matter of fact, I did." And she was like, "No way, you did
Mhm.
not." And so I've been working on it. Sherry and I have been working on it together. I ran it through the couple of writers' rooms a few times, and it's gone through some different changes. And then finally, we did re-record it a couple of weeks ago, and it there's a very good possibility it's going to be used through my day job. But I can't talk about it yet, but we'll
Okay.
see how that all goes.
That's fine.
But keep you posted, though. Keep you
Okay. Are
posted.
you going to play that song or are you going to play a different
Yeah,
song for us?
yeah, I'll play that song.
Cool.
Yeah, No More One Days is just the whole song is basically their story. So
Fun.
I'll see.
Sweet.
Can you hear the guitar okay?
Sure can. I
Okay.
think I have us. Let's just make sure we're up as high as we can go. Yeah, I think I got us as high as we're gonna go. I got my volume all the way up. We can hear you.
Okay.
Cool.
It looks like bad news lying there, like something broke beyond repair. Doctors in and out all day, machines beeping away. She says when you're up to it, we can finally take that trip. He says, yeah, maybe one day. She says, no more one days, no more some days, no more saying we'll get around to it. You're still breathing, that's enough reason to start living right now. No more one days, no more one days. They wheel him in, the kids wave by. Says he'll be back, just hang tight. Pacing back and forth all day, the clock ticking away. And hours later the doctor says he made it through a long road ahead. She pulls the kids into her arms. No more one days, no more one days, no more some days, no more saying we'll get around to it. You're still breathing, that's enough reason to start living right now. No more one days, no more one days. No more talking about one day soon, like time is slipping out that room. Right now is all we ever get, so hold on, it ain't over yet. No more one days, no more Sundays, no more saying we'll get around to it. You're still breathing, that's enough reason to start living right now. No more one days, no more one days. And 6 months later a card arrives with a photo tucked inside, and arms up like he won the race. No more one days.
Like that. See, better representation than anything I could possibly ask him about. So, looking and moving forward, are we expecting a full album? Are we expecting more singles? What's happening for the rest of this year?
Rest of the year is one song a month at least.
Oh, wow. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay, good
one
deal.
song a month, and just keep writing, keep recording. I'll be back in Nashville in October, planning on to do more shows there.
Okay,
I've done two shows this past week. One at the Commodore Grill, one at Pookie Jane's, and
right.
then tomorrow night I'm doing a place. Tomorrow night is at it's a place called The Local, and it's called the Music Row Freak Show, and
Okay.
it's a bunch of writers, songwriters. So I'll be there tomorrow.
And then when you go back to LA, do you have performances there as well?
Gonna go into the studio when we get back, and then yeah, there's a I'm working on a couple different songwriting nights there as well, and I'll
Okay.
post everything on my new website that's just getting launched as well.
Okay.
And there's a Coolix woodshed in the valley that I like to go to as well, and it's a
Okay.
songwriters night every Monday night there. But yeah, I'm just gonna do as much as I can um, wherever I can.
Before I forget to ask this question, one of the most important things I guess I want to know, or we want to know collectively, is what are you hoping to do? What sort of impact do you hope to have with your music?
Well, I don't. I used to wanted to just be a rock star or a country star or whatever. Now the focus has changed dramatically to writing and storytelling
Okay.
and uh, maybe there's someone out there who also is going through what we're going through, what I'm going through as far as being a songwriter or the stories that I tell. Um, I think help because the family that I wrote the song for have heard it, they love it, and they they are very moved and very welcoming. Uh, it's just a way to connect, and I think through writing we can do that through film, through songs,
Mhm.
books.
Yes.
Yeah.
If someone watches this today, what's the easiest way for someone if they want to reach out to you or see you in person, etc., social media or otherwise, best places to go?
Yeah, social media is perfect. Instagram and or Facebook.
Right.
And then I have my new website, which was just geneloveland.com. And there's a place there you can see my email. But yeah, I find that here in Nashville, it's Instagram. That you have a if you have an Instagram page, that's what they all send everybody to, songwriters alike. They just, yeah, check out my Instagram and my Facebook, and it's usually up on the screen behind them, so
Sure. I get you.
yeah,
He's also
yeah,
on LinkedIn. He also has an
yeah,
IMDb profile, and I'm sure his music is somewhere outside of a website, right?
yeah, yeah. Right now, well, this song just got released. It's on everything. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple.
Right.
It's on iTunes and
Yeah.
YouTube Music, Amazon. Yeah,
All the usual spots, of course.
and all the other ones will be too. So yeah,
This is this is how I usually like to close out an interview because first of all, I find out that artists 90% of the time never hear this enough. So from myself to likely hundreds and hundreds of other folks, thank you very much for what you do. I don't think musicians often hear that. I also don't think they realize the emphasis and the engagement and the entertainment that they provide to us, which is always super important to our lives. You have touched us and inspired us and entertained us and moved us in a way that I think other forms don't. I think music is a character that plays in our life very well. It can affect our moods, it can change our day, it can make it better, worse, but most importantly, we can't live without you musicians. You make our world go round to some extent. So thank you for everything you do.
oh, thank you very much. It's very very nice of you to say.
Very true, though. Absolutely.